we'll write this thing in conclusion, that what is the conclusion of this particular topic. Now we'll discuss after 1991 to 2018. Now you have seen that in the last, we have shifted from agriculture towards, we can say, mid of industry, but due to weak base of industry, we were not able to capitalize on the performance of that particular industry. We're talking about MSME. They were satisfaction in their performance. Why? Because they are good in providing employment as well as their export potential. We'll discuss in industry in detail about MSME, but for the sake of understanding, their contribution to export is around 38%, and providing employment opportunity by MSME is around 40%. Getting my point? So they are very important in terms of India's external position as well as providing job opportunities. So they were performing relatively satisfactory. But after 1991, we have switched towards service sector, and service sector has started growing up. The contribution of service sector shot up instantly. Now the question arises, there's one question in mains. India skipped the industrial sector. I don't know the exact language of that question, but the gist behind that question is, what was the reason behind this jump from agriculture directly to services? Explain the factors. UPSC asked that, explain the factors which were responsible to skip this industrial sector. So we'll write that factors, but first we'll discuss. What are the factors? Excessive protection of industry. This is the one factor. I think enough discussion happened on this skip. It should settle in your mind that first one is, we skipped the industrial sector due to excessive protection. What happened after reforms? We have to initiate reforms in a fast manner, in a sudden manner. So things were out of control from the Indian policymakers. We need dollars because we were experiencing shortage of foreign exchange reserves in the year 1991. So in whatever way will come, we will accept. So they were coming in the service sector because at that time there was a lot of scope in investing in services. Like we have initiated a new tax called service tax in the year 1994. Why? Because Indian policymakers were experienced that a new sector is growing. We have to tax that sector. Recent example of a new sector is being taxed is, think about it, a new sector. Government initiated tax in that particular sector. Think about it, आपके आसपास है. Obviously you are involving in tuition now. This is a big sector. Amazon, Flipkart, e-commerce. Got my point? E-commerce. 2-3 years back, there was no tax on e-commerce. Now we have 5% VAT before GST. Now we have GST. So e-commerce, when there is a new opening of a sector, government always think about tax. Getting my point? Why government has been increasing the tax on services from 12.36 to 14% to 15%. Now we have GST of 18%. So you can see the change in just 3 or 4 years from 12.36% to 18%, because government is able to see that this sector is growing. So we have an opportunity to tax that particular sector. Getting my point? So we have witnessed huge growth in service sector. So from the year 1991 to 1998, or we can say 1997, India experienced high growth rate, that is beyond 5%. 8th 5-year plan and 9th 5-year plan. But what happened? Due to Asian financial crisis in 1997, India experienced a small setback. The history is witness that India never experienced a huge drastic impact of any other world financial crisis. Why? Because before 1991, we can say that India was a closed economy. We were trading with Russia. 25% of our export went to Russia. We'll discuss in planning era. But the main concern is that after 1991, there was a lot of engagement with the rest of the world. So in 1997, when there was an Asian financial crisis, India experienced some kind of setback. Like their East Asian countries experienced outflow of dollars. Can you connect that scenario with today's scenario? We are also experiencing outflow of FII. Getting my point? These all are interrelation, correlations. So we understand at that time, you can analyze the future prospect of this particular depreciation which is happening right now. So in 1997, what happened? Outflow of dollar from East Asian countries back to US or back to European countries. So at that time, India was also experiencing a setback, but not very much because India was also in the process of liberalizing its economy. But what happened? After 1997, we experienced historical high growth in 2003 to 2008 period. Do you remember? If you are reading newspaper continuously, you will find that in yesterday's newspaper, the growth rate was 10.09%. How this happened? Previously, it was around 8.5% on an average growth rate between 2003 to 2008. I'm talking about average growth rate of this 5-year period. Then a crisis hit in 2008. What we can say? Subprime crisis, global financial crisis. So, if I'm mentioning crisis, there are few words: crisis, recession, negative growth, slowdown. Continuously you're reading in the newspaper, what is slowdown? What is recession? So I'll make you write this one line definition. So India experienced a setback, but comparatively it is more than in comparison to 1997 crisis. Why? Because this crisis happened in the Western world. Our export hit. Then there are a lot of problem of crude oil prices. So in 2009, crude oil prices were around $147 a barrel. Can you imagine? $147 a barrel. This was the all-time high of crude oil prices. Now you can see the connection. India achieved high growth rate, then again a fall. Then again, when we compare with the previous decade, 1991 to 1997, we have achieved higher growth rate, beyond 5%. Then again a dip. Then again, so this is fluctuating growth rate. What we can say, business cycle. Business cycle. These are cycles. These are very frequent in free market economy, because nowadays, with the help of integration, economies are interconnected. So if there is an impact on Turkish lira, it will have an impact on developing countries' currency. Getting my point? Are you reading newspaper continuously? So are you able to connect this point? So from 2003 to 2008, India achieved historical high growth rate. Again in 2008 to 2013, India experienced a different kind of situation. Policymakers were confused that what is happening. There's a big debatable topic we'll discuss in few minutes. Inflation versus growth. If you achieve growth, you will experience inflation. If RBI is given the task of controlling inflation, it means on the other hand, we have to sacrifice some percentage point in the growth. So there is a big question. So from 2008 to 2013, India experienced both at the same time. That is low growth rate as well as high inflation. So policymakers were thinking that what is happening with the economy? हमको तो यही पता था ना कि एक ही चीज होती है, either inflation or either slow growth or low growth or stagnant growth. So a new term for Indian economy is known as a stagflation. American economy experienced that same stagflation in the year 1973, OPEC crisis. थोड़ा पढ़ना चाहते हैं तो you can search for that, but doesn't matter. I'll let you know what is the main gist of stagflation. In stagflation, this is a combination of two words, stagnation plus inflation, stagflation. So stagnation on the one hand and inflation on the other hand. So GDP growth is stagnated and we are experiencing high rise in the prices. What is the solution? Of solution you have to tell me if you are attending my class from the day one. We have discussed demand and supply. Can you able to connect this particular stagnancy in growth, high prices with the simple demand and supply concept? Think about it. I'll give you 2 minutes. It's important. Think about it. That is inflation. Supply will automatically. I'm not getting your answer. You're saying it right. You're going in the right direction. But make it specific. I'm not getting your answer. Production को थोड़ा सा कम कर दो. Why? We are experiencing inflation. It means there is a high demand. Demand is high. It means you are experiencing shortage in supply. Getting my point? Demand is high. You have limited amount of onion, like limited amount of pulses. What was the scenario in 2016? You have limited amount of pulses. But your demand remains same. It means people will demand for those pulses. They will buy at 100, 120, 150, even 170. It means supply is short, demand remains high. That is why you experience prices, higher prices. Simple enough. So what is the solution? Stagnant growth. Economy is not growing. Economy growing at 4%, 4.5%. That is not at all acceptable for economy like India, which used to experience high growth rate, 8%, 8.5% in 2003 to 2008 period. Getting my point? Then India suddenly experienced a dip in the growth rate. Okay, 80% आ रहे हैं किसी semester exam में, सीधे 40% आने लग जाए. That is totally unacceptable. What will you do? When you are getting 80%, you will aim for 90%. So that is why Indian policymakers were aiming for double-digit growth. But stagnation in growth and high prices. What's the solution? Increase the supply. This is the solution. Increase the supply. How will you increase the supply? How will you increase the supply? Import. We cannot say import. Import is the last option. Because we have to pay dollars. So how will you prefer import? You have to do things like import substitution. You have to substitute or import with domestic production. Your point is not wrong, but import is the last option, what we have. Suppose you are experiencing shortage in pulses. So we imported pulses from Mozambique. Remember? So it is a long-term process. Resources limited. What will you do? Suppose we are sitting in a policy-making meeting, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. What will be your suggestion? Increase in the supply. This is the best answer. You have writing in the mains. But you have to give some evidence how. We have a limited land area. We are having around 273 billion tons of food grain production. You cannot increase the land area belongs to agriculture sector. Or on the other hand, it has been reducing continuously due to pressure of urban infrastructure. On the other hand, you have invested a lot of money in smart city projects. If you will not give land area to smart city project, it will go in a loss. How will you increase the supply? I'll write, it is a quite difficult level question, but you have to think that how to increase supply. Okay? So first we'll write stagflation, then I'll make you write, I'll dictate points Those are helpful in increase in the supply, like mining policy, like increase the production of petroleum, domestic production of petroleum. Think about changing the sources from crude oil to other electrical vehicles. Getting my point? Structurally, you need some changes. Increase in the agriculture production. How? Now question arises, how? So you cannot increase the land area, but you can increase the agricultural productivity. Getting my point? So first you write stagflation. It is a situation in which an economy experienced stagnant growth, accompanied with high inflation. First off, India experienced stagflation. Am I going faster? India experienced stagflation from 2008 to 2013 period. From 2008 to 2013 period, which is the period just after the global financial crisis of 2008. It's a period just after the global financial crisis of 2008. Now you write solution to recover from stagflation. Number one, policymaker should make policies by keeping in mind the supply side factors. Number one, increase the agricultural productivity. Second, reduce the cost of production. Do you understand the second point, cost of production? Do you need any elaborated description of this point? No? Okay. Third one, reformed mining policies. In example, what will you write? Coal block allocation 2014. Next point, fourth, I guess. Substitution of essential imports like crude oil, by renewable or non-conventional source of energy. Do you understand non-conventional sources of energy? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, clear? So I've dictated in terms of priority wise. First, what you can do? Increase the agriculture productivity. It is very easy. Then second one is your reduce the cost of production. Suppose, for example, if we say example from daily life, if government is not able to provide the basic amenities to the poor people in our country, what's the immediate step that government can take? Reduce the prices in the economy. Getting my point? If prices are reduced in the economy, it means poor people will be able to buy the extra amount of goods and services with the same level of income. That's the debate of inflation and growth comes into the picture in our country. Right, next, what is recession? What is a recession? When a country experiences negative growth, when a country experiences negative growth for the two consecutive quarters, is known as recession. Next definition is of slowdown. What is slowdown? You write economic slowdown or slowdown, same thing. When an economy experiences a stagnant or a dip in GDP growth rate, stagnant or a dip in GDP growth rate, stagnant or a dip in the GDP growth rate, but it stays in a positive figure, is known as economic slowdown. Are you able to differentiate the two definitions? Yes or no? Yes? Any doubt? So for two consecutive quarters, if Indian economy is experiencing negative growth, it means we can easily say Indian economy is in recession. The extreme word of recession is depression. But we have experienced depression quite a few times, but luckily not in a 21st century. Last Great Depression, 1930s. Before that, we have experienced two depressions in 19th century. But after, or we can say since 1930s, the biggest crisis hit the capitalist countries is of 2008, subprime crisis. See? So India experienced stagflation. So are we clear about this thought? What is stagflation? What are the factors in terms of stagflation or in terms of overcome the problem of stagflation? This is a new point because now we will discuss the debate of inflation versus growth. But before that, we will write this discussion. We'll write this one. This is the conclusion. So after 2013, India experienced a recovery in the growth rate. India experienced a recovery in the growth rate due to two important international events. Can you give me an example? Two important international events. I think one you can guess. Yeah, that's the one. Next one, it is related to India's neighbor, Chinese economy. Slowdown in China. So there were two important factors. So you write first one is fall in the prices of crude oil. Fall in the prices of crude oil. Second one is slowdown witnessed in Chinese economy. Slowdown witnessed in Chinese economy. Slowdown witnessed in Chinese economy. So from 2015, China's growth rate has been going down. That is why we can say that India is the fastest growing major economy. The word major is important. Okay. You're right. Next one. Next paragraph. Next paragraph. These favorable conditions helped India to achieve a higher growth rate of around 7% and more. Of around 7% and more. Of around 7% and more. So what is the estimate for this fiscal 2018-19? What is the estimation? 7.4%. 7.4% is estimated by RBI, estimated by CSO, more or less relatively approved by IMF, World Bank. There are rating agencies who are of the opinion that around 7.2. So we can easily say 7.4 is the expectation of this fiscal 2018-19. So we can easily say with the shock of demonetization and destocking before GST, India's growth story has been again on rise. तो ये आपका conclusion हो गया. This may be reported in the newspaper. Now we will discuss inflation growth conflict. So you write, this is an important topic of discussion for mains examination. Growth versus inflation. Growth versus inflation. What do you think? First I will ask, you understand both the terms. Although I have not discussed inflation, but you must have enough idea of inflation. What is inflation? What do you think? If you are the policy maker, what will you prefer? Higher growth rate or low inflation? Low inflation, yes. You? Higher growth, yes. Inflation? Inflation is good for economy. Some inflation. India, what's the current rate of inflation in India? Recent monetary policy predicted 4.8%. Getting my point? So what is the target given by MPC, Monetary Policy Committee? This is a target of inflation for the next 5 years given by the Urjit Patel Committee in January 2015. 4% with a bracket of plus minus 2. So it means upper limit is 6% and lower limit is 2%. In June 2017, India experienced 1.78% of inflation. In June 2017. It means it was below our lower limit. Now we are about to breach our upper limit. Expected rise in the inflation rate for this fiscal is 5%. That is why for 2 consecutive monetary policy meetings, RBI hiked the repo rate from 6% to 6.5, then again from 6.5 to 6.25 to 6.5. So 50 basis point in just 3 months. So this is inflation. So what do you think? 5% is good for India? You are getting interest or rate of return on FD is around 7%. Getting my point? On saving bank, you are getting 4%. Maybe SBI is giving 3.5, Bank of Baroda is giving 3.5. But more or less 4%. It means you are getting negative return on your saving deposit. Inflation is 5%, you are getting 4%. You're just able to save your money from eroding. So what do you think? Yes? What do you think? Any opinion? Simple, growth or inflation? You have to choose one. You cannot choose both. Low inflation, yes. Low inflation. Can you justify your statement one by one? Justify. Just give one reason. Basically, you cannot say in vague, you will become an IAS officer, जो भी आपके बात का वेटेज है, that matters a lot. If we speak in public, then can create a ripple effect, multiple effect. So you cannot say in vague. If you are saying that I'm in support of growth rate, yes, any evidence?
India being a developing country, so we have to simply do not even have the basic ability given to people, so we should be more headed towards growth.
ठीक है.
That is the
So are you able to tolerate high inflation rate?
not a high inflation rate, but I think that is where fiscal policy and monetary policy
Comes into the picture. But when you say that RBI is given the task of controlling inflation, then RBI will do its job. That was the fight between Arun Jaitley and Raghuram Rajan. They were always fighting, even in the press conference. Why? Because Raghuram Rajan was of the opinion that inflation should be on this limit. We cannot breach that limit. Growth, you will take care. But I'll take care about inflation. At that time, the question arises that inflation control is the sole authority of RBI, or RBI has only one role to control inflation. RBI has a variety of role in developing country. RBI has wider role in comparison to Federal Reserves of United States. So RBI has carrying a big responsibility. Yes, in the defense of inflation, you want to say something? Why you want low inflation? Value of money will decrease. Okay. So how will you justify low growth rate? If you are growing at a slower pace, you will not able to attract investment. People are saying that Indian economy is going in a slowdown. Will not invest in Indian market. There's a loss of foreign direct investment, loss of foreign capital. Maybe you experience investment outflow from India. Again, the pressure on foreign exchange reserves. Yes, growth. You were in the favor of growth. Inflation, low inflation. So how will you justify this point? Are you able to ready with sacrificing some growth rate? After demonetization, we have experienced dip in the growth rate. From 7% we can say to 6.5, 6.7%. There was a havoc among the policy makers. जनता को मतलब नहीं है उस चीज से. But policy makers were of the opinion that India should get back to the higher growth rate, 7% growth rate. What do you think? What's the conclusion? Obviously, this is a debatable topic. We can go on and on. But that's the only debate RBI is facing. That's the main dilemma. From RBI's perspective, what's the solution? Low inflation. But from government's point of view, government wants growth. There are a number of factors, political factors, that is non-economic factors. If you want to win the next election, you need to show some substantial figures on your GDP growth rate. So non-economic factors comes into the picture. So government will always favor high growth rate. Because the value of inflation, I think only 5 to 10% people are aware about inflation in this country. They don't know the value eroded of 100 rupees from last 5 years to current year. So it is a fluctuating impact. If inflation is high, ratio of development goes down. How?
The cost of the development will be high.
If inflation is high, you are saying that inflation is high.
The cost of the development will also
Go high. Cost of development. Yeah, cost of development will obviously go high. That is why the stalled projects, lot of stalled projects experience time and cost overruns. If you are not able to complete your project on time, there are two problems: time and cost overrun. And stagnant resources. Your resources stuck in that project. You cannot move out labor from that. You cannot move out capital. That's a sign of worry. So this government has done a pretty good job in reviving the stalled projects. Talking about infrastructure, very satisfactory performance for the last 4 years. Talking about inflation versus growth. For our country, inflation should be under control. If we are ready to sacrifice few percentage of growth rates, it is okay. Because India experienced lot of poor people, lot of poverty in our country. So in order to revive those people from the conditions of poverty, we need to control prices in this market. If prices will go hayward, it will convert into high inflation, or maybe sometimes called hyperinflation, where government is not able to control inflation. There are other factors also, so that we can use in order to contribute towards growth. Like for example, if you reduce inflation rate, that is why government and RBI went for an agreement, monetary policy framework agreement. Therefore, the next 5 years, we'll be able to control inflation between this bracket, 4% plus and minus 2%. So if there is a chance of breaching the upper limit, we'll control inflation. I told you that India experienced inflation of 1.78% in June 2017. You can check the data. 1.78. It is below the lower limit. Why? Because of destocking before GST. Destocking before GST. GST आने से पहले havoc create हो गया था ना? We have to change everything. We have to change the tax policy. We have to change all these tags, etc. So, what showrooms and what sellers were doing? They were just destocking their production. So inflation went down. But that was a abnormal condition. Only for the month of June. From July, it was more than 2%. Then again, it has started rising. So 4% or 5%, we are very comfortable in this position. Because inflation, as he said, is important for the growth of the economy. Because inflation gives incentive. In India, people are experiencing 10%, 15%, even 20% hike in their salary every year. But when we talk about Western economies, because of low inflation or negative inflation in Japan, people are experiencing 3%, 4% of hike in their salary. So first, if the question arises, which is your priority, is your inflation. Because India is a developing country, if we are not able to provide basic amenities to the poor people, to our population, we need to do something to reduce the prices of goods and services. Getting my point? I've given enough strong evidence that why we have to support inflation. Because in terms of growth, if we are controlling inflation, we are growing at 7%. That is, I think, more than enough to attract foreign investment. If you experience dip in a growth rate around 6%, you just reduce the repo rate. So a new normal has been set by Reserve Bank of India. New normal. What is new normal? What do you understand by the word new normal? In newspaper mein aata hai. It means for rupee for the last 6-7 months, normal rate of rupee versus dollar was around 64-65. But here, if it stays around 69-70, we'll say that this is the new normal for rupee. Getting my point? Just the equilibrium level is shifted in an upward manner. So it doesn't matter. अभी इंडिपेंडेंस डे था, बहुत लोग शेयर कर रहे थे 1947 में 1 rupee is equivalent to $1. नहीं, let me clear, क्योंकि स्टूडेंट्स ही भेजते हैं. What do you think? Is this correct? If I say that today, if dollar becomes or $1 becomes 1 rupee is equivalent to, what will you say? Will it be fruitful for our country? No. So it is a new normal. At that time, that was a normal. Getting my point? Due to certain circumstances, due to increase in the money supply in Indian economy, obviously rupee will depreciate. We'll discuss in monetary policy module. Did you get the idea?